The screen flickered like a broken TV. The clock on the wall hit 3:17 a.m. The house went silent. Then the front door opened by itself. On the security monitor, a dark shape stepped inside. It did not walk like a person. It slid, slow and smooth, as if the floor was water. Another shape followed. Then another. The camera shook, even though no one touched it. A whisper filled the room, soft but clear, saying one word again and again. Trailer. Sarah Miller covered her mouth, so she would not scream. Her husband, Mark, froze beside her. The kids were asleep upstairs, and the baby monitor began to hiss like a snake. The screen went black. When it came back on, the figures were gone. But the front door was still wide open, and the whisper was now inside the house. Then the power cut out. That was the moment everyone would later talk about. That was the moment people said the movie trailer became real. And that was the moment no one could explain. What happened next was never recorded, because the footage disappeared before sunrise. All that remained were shaking hands, pale faces, and a question that would not go away. What really walked into the house at 3:17 a.m.? Earlier that week, everything had been normal. The Millers lived on Pine Street, a quiet road where kids rode bikes and neighbors waved. Sarah liked the sound of birds in the morning. Mark liked fixing things in the garage. Their daughter Emily was 9 and loved scary stories, even though Sarah told her not to. Their son Jake was 6 and afraid of the dark. Baby Lily was only 1 and slept through almost anything. On Monday night, Sarah heard the first sound. Tap, tap, tap. She sat up in bed and listened. The house was old, so she told herself it was just pipes or wood moving. Mark was already asleep. The sound stopped. Sarah lay back down. Then she heard footsteps, slow ones. They moved from the living room to the kitchen. Sarah's heart beat faster. She nudged Mark. "Do you hear that?" Mark listened. "Nothing. It's probably stress," he said. "You've been working too hard." The next night, the sounds came back. This time, a door opened. Sarah watched the hallway light turn on by itself. She stood there, frozen, while the light hummed softly. When Mark checked, nothing was there. No open doors. No lights on. On Wednesday, the neighbor started talking. Mrs. Carter across the street said she heard whispers in her walls. The Johnson family said their back door was unlocked when they woke up. One man said his dog barked at nothing for an hour straight, staring at the corner of the room. Still, no one called the police. Pine Street had always been safe. By Thursday, Sarah could not sleep. She set up the security cameras. Mark laughed a little, but helped anyway. "Now we'll prove it's just a house," he said. That night, the cameras caught something. At 3:17 a.m., the living room camera flickered. A shadow crossed the wall, tall and thin. Then another. The sound was not loud, but it was clear. Footsteps, whispers, and a soft knocking, like fingers on glass. In the morning, Mark watched the video again and again. "This doesn't make sense," he said. When Sarah tried to show it to the police, the file would not open. When Mark tried again, the clip was gone. Only a few broken images remained dark and blurry. By Friday, people were scared. 2 families packed their bags and left. Others stayed but slept with lights on. Kids stopped playing outside. At night, Pine Street felt empty, like everyone was holding their breath. Emily asked, "Mom, is this like a movie?" Sarah forced a smile. "No, sweetheart, movies aren't real." But that night, Sarah dreamed of a movie screen. On it was her own house. A deep voice said, "Based on a true event." Then the screen went black. She woke up screaming at exactly 3:17 a.m. That was the night of the trailer. Mark was awake too. The baby monitor crackled. Jake cried out from his room. The front door handle began to turn, slow and steady. "No," Sarah whispered. The living room camera turned on by itself. And that was when the figures appeared, moving like shadows pulled from the walls, filling the house as the whisper grew louder, repeating the same word, closer and closer, as the door opened wide, and something unseen stepped forward. The whisper stopped all at once. The house felt too quiet, like the world had paused. Sarah could hear her own breathing, fast and shaky. Mark slowly stood in front of her, holding his phone like it could protect him. The living room camera screen glowed on the tablet in Mark's hand. The front door was open. Cold air crawled inside. Then the baby monitor crackled again. Lily began to cry. "Upstairs," Sarah whispered. "We need to get the kids." Mark nodded. They moved together, slow and careful. Every step on the stairs sounded too loud. Halfway up, the hallway light turned on by itself. Emily's bedroom door was open. "Emily?" Sarah called softly. "I'm here," Emily answered. Her voice shook. "Mom, the man on the screen is in my room." Sarah froze. "What man?" Mark asked. Emily pointed to the small TV on her dresser. It was off before. Now it was on, showing black and white video. The picture looked old, like a movie from long ago. On the screen was Pine Street, their street, their house. And standing in front of it was a dark figure, tall and thin, with no face. The figure raised its hand and knocked on the screen. Knock, knock, knock. The same sound came from downstairs. Jake started crying in his room. Lily's cries grew louder. The whisper returned, softer now, almost kind. "Come watch," it said. Mark grabbed Emily and pulled her close. "This isn't real," he said, but his voice broke. The TV shut off. All the lights in the house went out. For a second, everything was black. Then the hallway filled with a pale glow. The figures were there again, more of them now, standing still. They did not touch anything. They only watched. Sarah felt her legs shake. "What do you want?" she whispered. The whisper answered from everywhere at once. "To show you." The walls began to change. Pictures formed, moving like water. Sarah saw other houses on Pine Street, other families, other nights, doors opening, people waking up at 3:17 a.m. Some were crying, some were frozen in fear, some were packing their cars and leaving. "This already happened," Mark said softly. The whisper grew louder. "And it will again." Suddenly, everything stopped. The figures faded. The lights came back on. The house looked normal again. Too normal. Mark checked the clock. 3:18 a.m. Silence. They did not sleep for the rest of the night. In the morning, police cars lined Pine Street. Neighbors stood outside, talking in low voices. Mrs. Carter was crying. She said her TV turned on by itself and showed her own bedroom while she slept in it. The police searched the Miller house again. No signs of forced entry. No broken locks. No strange devices. When Sarah tried to show them the security footage, the files were missing. Every camera clip from the night before was gone. One officer shook his head. "Probably a power issue," he said, but his hands were shaking. That afternoon, a moving truck came, then another. By sunset, 3 houses were empty. Pine Street felt broken, like a smile missing teeth. Mark sat at the kitchen table, staring at his phone. "I found something," he said. Sarah leaned over. "What is it?" "A video online," Mark said. "It was posted years ago. It's called the movie trailer." Sarah's stomach dropped. The video showed a quiet street, Pine Street, the same houses. A deep voice spoke slowly. "Every story begins before you know it has started." The video ended at 3 minutes and 17 seconds. That night, Sarah tucked the kids into bed. Emily held her hand tight. "Mom," she whispered. "The whisper knows our names." Sarah did not answer. At 3:16 a.m., the power went out again. This time, the TV in the living room turned on by itself. The screen showed Sarah standing in the hallway, holding the baby monitor. But Sarah was in the hallway already, and on the screen, the dark figure stepped closer to her door, reaching out as the whisper returned, louder than ever, and something began knocking from inside the walls.